Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
All right, girl, we are back. We are back. Part 2, Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 15 with my girl, Espopcultureopinion. Yay!
All right. Thank you. Clap, clap, clap. Little finger thumb claps.
Okay.
Little finger thumb claps that you can't see.
Woo! Everybody here popping off because
I'm telling you.
We got crackheads, base heads, thieves, all kinds of stuff going on, child.
Purpose. On the Lord's day.
And where's
Shenanigans.
the therapist, Lord? I mean, the man that got rid of Dr. What's his name? Funches? What's his name?
Dr. Ken? What? No, that was Atlanta. Everyone used Dr. Ken.
Oh, yeah.
Married to medicine.
Doctor make them husbands get right. He was making them all get right, but they got rid of him, girl. Can you believe it? They got rid of
people that had that couples retreat?
Girl, they got rid of that man because he was bringing the truth. Francis, Dr. Francis. We miss you, Dr. Francis.
I am terrible at remembering names today. I'm so glad that you are on point. You know how you're like, I'm watching the show, but why am I not taking it in? I don't even know. But so we know that the Black Expo had its flops and follies, as Alex would say. We had flops and follies, and then there's the opportunity for the follow-up get together with the ladies for them to give feedback, which apparently Letitia was only looking for congratulations, but instead we had, confrontations.
I don't blame her.
Well, it was really interesting. Like I told you, the thing that surprised me the most is, it's hard for me to express, I guess, clearly the way that I kind of understand that it looks really dumb to be arguing about $100 and how it's really not about $100. It's not about the pasta, for any of you that are Vanderpump fans. Like, I get it. But I still was surprised that Kimmy was so quick to defend Tisha when Stormy was expressing how upset she was about the situation. You know what I mean?
Oops.
But like you were saying earlier, I do understand that that Stormy's reaction to it does seem kind of petty, as did Marceau, though, coming after her to collect it. So I don't know. I guess it just feels like a lot of pettiness over an entrance fee, but right? That's what I'm saying. But I know that underneath it's like, I have a lot going on in my business, and you guys asked me to come and be a part of it, and you asked me to come speak. And so I, literally, even though I have a lot going on, I chose to come and support you guys. And it doesn't feel like you even know really what you're doing. So for you to come after me to collect some money after I just put a lot of effort into helping you offends me.
Exactly. And the fact that Tisha could have handled that whole situation between Stormy and her husband so that she could have smoothed over everybody. All she had to do was turn around and show her booty cheeks, because apparently both Stormy and Marceau like her booty. It was evident that when she was, remember she was showing them around in the previous episode, it's just a beautiful sight. That's what Stormy said. Excuse me. And of course, Martell had to make the first comment, like, excuse me.
Oh, he would. Yes, of course he would say that his wife looks better than him. Yep.
Look, any excuse to put your eye on a woman. That's any excuse. That's a whole different channel. But anyway, I mean, but honestly, she could have just said, listen, something to understand that we didn't tell you before. We just had it on the books now. We can handle it afterwards. I'm sorry for the confusion my husband caused, but let's just have a good time and worry about the $100 later. But he is up there, like Stormy said, acting like you're the bit, like you're the tax man or something, over something that he just created in his mind to get a few more extra dollars in their pocket. I don't like that at all.
Hey, can we get that? Can we get $100 from you? Hey, can we get the $100 from you? You know what that comes off like? That just comes off wrong. It comes, hey, can I get that? Can I get that money you owe me? Like, and you know, it's just what I wish Tisha would have done is said to Marceau, we will either waive that $100 because she's helped us last minute, or we will collect it later. We will not do it right now. It is tacky to talk to her about money right now. Let's have this expo. Not right now. Not right now. It doesn't have to be right this minute. It's only $100. It does not have to be right this minute when we are ready to, we're getting set up. You know?
And especially after the heels of a lawsuit that they lost.
And on the heels of Stormy is coming in to participate because Mel declined and Martell didn't get his act together. So they needed another cast member to have a showing there. And what did she do? She's coming with the most legitimate business that any of you have.
The most.
Okay? And doing it while, you know, like I said, I sound like a broken record, doing it while she has a large distribution order. And I think maybe that's where it got a little bit lost in translation, you know, because she was offended. You could tell Stormy was just clearly offended and like, period. And that's really what it needed to be boiled down to was, we apologize for offending you, that we appreciate you coming and participating.
There you go.
And I would just apologize for the timing of the request. This was our first time. We were our first time out and we had some organization issues, you know?
That sounds great.
Right? Like, period. And really, at the end of the day, take the loss of $100 and write it off on your taxes, Marceau. Okay? Take it as a business loss, because we all know, as people that are involved in things like this, good networking and good business practice far exceeds the need for $100, unless you are that cash poor that you have to collect on such small, then you are overextended and shouldn't be answering any of the questions on the business panel, sir.
Which he couldn't, and that leads me to say, well, they should have had all the couples there participating, and furthermore, all of that could have been handled, but no, it wasn't planned right.
She's like, I think Marceau is still salty at Tiffany about the Martell thing. I think he doesn't like her because she's a very strong woman, and I think that, you know, I don't think she was included the way that, I don't think the Whitlows were included the way that they should have been, because I think that Marceau and Tisha were kind of hoping to like kind of force the comeback group to come back together, you know, by putting this together. But really, if they had been smart, what they would have done is solicit Stormy and her husband, you know, what is Stormy's last name? Because I can remember the Whitlows. I'm like, what are Stormy? Steele. The Whitlows and the Stills, why don't you include them? And like, you know, because the comeback group could still be a thing. You just had a bad fit because one of the couples completely imploded. And honestly, without them being together, they're kind of useless on their own. Because Melody doesn't really want anything to do with your asses, and Martell is not that good at business without a smarter partner.
And the show ain't gonna have one, and she buy nothing.
Oh no, that's the blind leading the blinder.
So so that's out. But
Sheree doesn't even have a nose to mind her own business anymore.
Girl, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Okay, Tisha and Stormy, since we into Stormy still, as you know, strong as she is, of course. So Tisha and Stormy, they start talking about what, you know, transpired. I think Stormy kind of started it off because, you know, they're going, you know, talking about things and how, because I think Tiffany already read Tisha fulfilled for not including her, saying that she felt excluded.
She felt left out.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's true. They were, I mean, they're on the show for 2 years now. Hello. And they are entrepreneurs. Yep. So not like you said, including them was on purpose, I believe, because that's Marcel's way. So then when Tiffany kind of started huffing, that's when, like you said, Kimmy backed up Tisha, like, no, we didn't exclude you. We discussed you, but we just didn't include you. Well, what's the damn difference? I don't know.
I'm like, just because you talked about me or you forgot about me, that still means you excluded me, though. Like, it didn't mean, you know, you talked about me or you forgot about me. Either way, I wasn't invited.
A decision was
I wasn't
made.
in on it.
Yeah, a decision was made. So
yes,
there you go. So then
Stormy, and I do. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I think that regardless of what you feel about Tiffany's personality, I think it comes across as like kind of evident that she's very smart businesswoman. Like, she's not a stupid lady. You know what I mean? It just, she comes across as like someone that, you know, that you would want to include. Even the way she was helping Martell with his stuff, you know? That's why Martell's so stupid. It's like, why are you alienating the people that actually get shit done?
And Stormy pointed out that I think she meaning Tiffany raised between $3 to $5 million or something recently.
$3.5 million. They just raised $3.5 million.
And Tisha talking about, I don't know anything about what you do. You've had weeks to find out. Find out what you're missing. I think that they missed that ball or dropped the ball with what they needed to cover, because they missed the ball. That man's question was perfect, but y'all couldn't answer it. Or Marcel couldn't answer it because he wasn't qualified to answer it, as Tiffany pointed out in her confessional. So yeah, Stormy had brought up some good points about it not being professionally done, meaning operations-wise, trying to get the space together for people, last-minute money respectful demands of money at the last minute from the people helping them to put on a successful Expo, and then you turn around and charge them for being there. Oh, so 28 vendors, 100 a pop, $2,800 was made for that on the backs of the vendors. How was that fair? In my opinion. Now, maybe you can help me with that, because this is more or less your territory. So help me understand, just real quick, if you can. $2,800 was generated as revenue for that Black Expo off the backs of the vendors. None of that money that the vendors, no product that the vendors sold was given back to Black Expo Incorporated, or whatever it's called. So they got to keep their revenue, but they still had to pay to be there, and it's supposed to be a benefit for the community. Help me understand the logic.
That's the part that gets weird, because a traditional trade show or expo or business industry, anything like that, right? There's going to be a pretty steep registration fee depending on the size of the booth that you want to have there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a registration fee, and then there's the booth fee. I mean, there's a fees up the wazoo.
Okay.
But that is a traditional expo where you're investing in the publicity, the marketing, the networking, or just the straight up product sales.
Okay.
Like, that's why, people go to like the anime convention, because you sell figurines of a certain kind of anime, and that you're going to pay $2,500 for the booth setup you have, but you're going to sell $50,000 worth of product.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you're just going to get that much foot traffic. So in a traditional sense, $100 isn't even anything to even it's not even consequential, because like it's barely going to cover the cost of like the electricity bill potentially for all of those plugins that you had or whatever. Although I don't know how together they were with organizing everyone having electricity, and like I don't know how fully functional that facility was. But to your point, it is silly that if it's about giving back to the community, or if it's about Black business, why you're charging anyone anything. Marceau was trying to argue with everybody at the meeting when they met to do this, to say that we do need to recover the costs that we put in to like rent the facility and the different things to set up for the expo. So maybe that's what they were trying to do with that. But no matter what, it's once again poor organization and poor communication to not make any of this clear. Because when you do it in charity shit, you need to be real clear, because that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a business look. You need to make it incredibly clear that here's our purpose and our intent with this event that we're doing, but we're asking for $100 donation or participation fee in order to cover basic costs or whatever. That's what I'm saying. There should have been some email sent out to everybody that's like real clear what we're doing here. But Tisha and Marceau, it feels like they like to be like casual about shit and then not casual about, you know what I mean? It's like, we're gonna do this expo, it's like a big get together and do whatever, and it's like, well, the disorganization caused some offended feelings. Acknowledge that. Say that next time that we do this, we'll try to have a more professional protocol.
Okay, I can understand that.
Right?
Pretty much what I thought, unorganized.
Yes, because it's like, what's your purpose here? Are you trying to serve the Black business community? Are you trying to host an event for them to showcase their stuff? Then you should, figure, like, whatever you're doing should be crystal clear, because you're not actually honoring Black local businesses if you're kind of ambushing them with fees they didn't agree to the day of the show.
Yeah.
Or event. So, yeah. And Tisha always does this though, right? It goes back to what you were saying. Marceau will do something offensive, and then Tisha will kind of hide behind him, or I told him I didn't like that. Well, you didn't tell me you told him that. I'm telling you I didn't appreciate it. Like.
Hello?
She kind of does. Yeah, no, she kind of does nothing with, he does something offensive, but she doesn't really like, she doesn't take accountability, but she doesn't let anybody like hold him accountable either,
I think over the years, he's put so much pressure on her, Marceau and Tisha, that she's going to fluff over things unless it's a blatant and concise accusation. And I'm going to say this real quick. Do you remember when her mama showed her the picture of I think it was his back, but allegedly speaking, of course.
Right.
But remember that whole episode or two, maybe 3, where she was upset and she actually cried when after she saw that, she looked at the picture her mama showed her. She didn't immediately say that's not him. In no shape or form or fashion did she immediately denounce that picture to be her husband. She looked at it, said, it could, because it is. Then she had a meeting with him that night outside of Black, and she was upset. She cried in that car. Those tears was for a reason. So he's making her feel like these things that are coming out, excuse me, about him aren't true because they can't see my face. Well, I'm sorry, but if he was positioned in that position and someone took that picture, I bet you it would match that picture her mama showed her. She knows that was him in that picture. And then to boot, that whole situation with Chris Fletcher, she excused all of that. He's talking about he had dinner with him that night. Chris said he left at 2 or 4. When has dinner ever been at 2 or 4? And that he slept over because he was so tired. Really? It may seem circumstantial, but it's just blatantly evident that he is making her feel like unless you have a video of me doing it, a picture of us naked, I think he's putting certain stipulations on the evidence that comes about in order for her to even bring it to him for him to address.
Oh yeah, because we gotta add the trip alone to Africa on top of it.
Girl, I need to see the manifesto. I need to see the manifesto. I need to see who was on that plane.
Who he met there.
I think they took that trip on the plane. I bet my house that woman was on that plane sitting next to him. I bet you. It's the trip in Africa alone, whoever she is or they are good enough for him to keep doing what he's doing. It's just so no one who is not fine as fuck is going to have all this circumstantial evidence against him and not be true.
Well, I just think that the way that he behaved, all of it, it just all points to, it's like it all points to the obvious, and for us to not believe it means we have to suspend our belief, But that goes to the mid-season trailer.
Hello.
Where, apparently things, go downhill. They just keep going downhill. But it looked like the major drama for Marceau is with Kiki, at least in the trailer.
Okay, I'm going to play a little bit of this trailer.
Right, let's do it.
What is this?
The Huntsville police are on the lookout for this one.
Kiki picture.
I haven't seen Kiki since the news, though. It's interesting what the video catches.
She started putting items into her purse.
Stole something?
I hope she's not that on PAs. Maurice ain't that kind of attorney.
How did he get all the way to TV to say call the police?
Just drugs.
Please tell me you're kidding.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, I had to pause it, right? Do you remember when all this was going on then? When it was, things were being talked about a few months back about her?
No, I do not. See, so I feel in the dark.
She was doing a lot of press with different YouTubers and things, talking about Kiki And it
I
was
know
a
she went
lot.
on Carlos King, right? She went on Carlos King, right? She went on. I know she went on Carlos.
Yeah, I believe so. And it was a lot being said about the things that she's gonna bring up, and she did bring up the cheating about Marcel.
Right. Because that, yes,
I'm gonna play.
We have a bridge.
Here's some more.
I just got out of hospital. Hospital? Yeah. I had intense pain, aching. I can't help you no more. She's lying. Well, I'm sure your family had called you and reached out. Tisha was the last person to call me out of everybody.
You don't want me to keep calling you a drug head? Stop the drugs. You're always coming for women. Always. You're trying to check my wife. Well, ain't nobody saying nothing about paying no money. Stay in Marceau business or being business. You're literally selling hair care products for a living. No, I'm talking about business. You know, it's the guy that sells hair products for a living.
Okay, first of all, what are you trying to insinuate, Marcel? That he's not a man because he sells women's hair, and it's not, and it's apparently it's not just for women. It's not formulated for women. However, it's formulated for the type of hair that it is, the texture and whatnot. But Marcel, I think, is trying to, throw
emasculate.
You're right, emasculate, and make it seem like he's not a real man because he's peddling women's hair products. What?
I know what it's these low blows. I mean, what he's saying is not wrong. It's Courtney, right? It's her husband's name. I'm telling you, I don't trust myself at all to remember anybody's name today. I don't know why. Sorry, Courtney. At least I got it right. No, because what he said is true. He does go after women. He does. He went after a 7 months pregnant woman, because he didn't like what she said to Marceau's, not even girlfriend. Because he doesn't like what he said, or Martel's not even girlfriend.
Even his business, like Big Lou said, why was he even talking? If it had nothing to do with him.
Right. So, I think that, well, I don't know. Like, what do you think is going on with Kiki? Like, I guess, I don't know. I didn't hear any of the things that she explained or was talking about with what happened. But I think two things can be true. Even if she has a drug problem and she's relapsing right now, you could still be a cheater. And she could still be telling the truth about that. So, defaming her character, undercutting her, trying to bring up petty shit about anybody that tries to bring you a valid argument about your misogyny and your shadiness. It just shows more of your character than it does of the person that's accusing him. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's all over the place.
Right.
So, Kiki can be a drug addict, you can still be a cheater. Courtney can sell women's hair products and you can still be a misogynist. Okay?
I'll play some more.
It's so pathetic for these black men to try to belittle and attack black women that they see being successful.
I'll pay professionals, not actresses, not models, professionals. I'm not going to pay you to talk about your t-shirt business.
Last I checked, they got sweatshirts for sale that say black across it.
A sex therapist.
For you to think that all of a sudden I can just make my body want to have sex.
This is a mental thing, Kimmy.
A medication made me feel this way. That borders on being an
Borders? I think we done crossed into that asshole country.
I really hope they're taking this. I hope they're showing us things out of context for a reason. But if this is in true context, everything Claudia said on TGIF should be said over and over again to him every morning when he wakes up.
No, it makes me wonder if they saw the mid-season trailer. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they knew what was coming up. I don't even know, because it is. Like I told you, it makes everything that he's been what they this it just sorry, my head, like I fell down the stairs of my own mind because it just made me go, are you guys trying to do some kind of PR tour before the mid-season trailer comes out because you know that Maurice is even worse? Or are you trying to get ahead of this? Because none of it helped. It just set you up to look like a bigger a-hole because people were already like thinking you're a jerk because you were pressed upon your wife during chemo. But now, oh, I hope it's out of context too, right? Like, I hope you're effing with us. Well, I don't like when they do that, but you know what I mean.
You know, the longer Kimmy stays in this habitual dysfunction of misogyny, the more I'm going to start blaming her too. I already kind of do for moving goalposts for this man so that he can stay in your life. That's all she's doing is to make him comfortable when it should be the other effing way around.
True, but I mean, I do think this is where Maurice is going to take a serious beating. So we'll see what that does to his ego. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it's your turn to be in the hot seat. You know, he's kind of gotten to skate around a lot of things, right? He got off pretty light on the linebacker accusations. So he's going to roast for this one.
The goal. She keeps moving them for him. And those should not be moved because those are, what do you call them? Deal breakers.
Deal breakers? Yeah.
Apparently cheating was a problem, which is why she said, well, we weren't married. So she didn't say it wasn't a problem because we weren't married. She said, well, we weren't married. So.
Well, it felt like to me she was covering her bets. Like, if any proof comes out that you got caught like red-handed and there's no way out, then I'm going to say, but then I'm going to go on the record as having been like, well, we weren't married, you know?
That's
like
all that.
All right. That. So I just felt like she, well, and it goes to what you were saying that like in her heart of hearts, she has some major doubts. So she wanted to make sure to protect what they have going on now because she wasn't sure, but even that if it looked like he was going to skate, she also, you know, gave him enough wiggle room, you know. But I think part of that is because they are now invested in their coupledom as part of their money, you know. I mean, Kimmy is the darling. Everybody loves Kimmy. So, you know, staying on the show, being married, being the brand and all of that, like it has its benefits for her.
Yeah. And she's more of the underdog. You know, people really feel sorry for her. Not to take away from how great of a person she is, but of course, you know, people are feeling more sorry for her because of what she went through this last couple of years or 18 months, however long it's been. And it's just very unfair that anyone suffering in that way should have to be put through anything to make them uncomfortable. Anything, whether it's a conversation or a lewd act. It's just not right. And the fact that he can't wait and she'd rather put herself through than to let him know you have to wait for me. All bets is off now. That 1 week shit, you have to wait. Where was
it's called in sickness and in health. Well, and it's not like
all messed up. No.
Well, and it's not like he can't achieve, like it's not like he can't service himself. It's not like you can't ever, you know, it's not like you can't have that satisfaction or, you know, it's like, hello, you know, just be efficient about it.
I'm sick of him. You want to finish looking at the trailer?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Don't cry, Neil. Listen, my bad. I apologize. Don't cry.
Nobody's crying about you, Marcel. Nobody. Even Tisha ain't gonna be crying about you when she leave your ass.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Mel getting buck now, huh? So she's bringing that back? Okay. Okay, Mel. She's bringing that back. Okay.
Well, because Marcel came to play, and she said, "I'm not the one."
Oh, okay.
You want to try me?
The one back. Okay.
Well, he told her, "Don't cry." She said, "Oh, I'll make you cry. You want to patronize me, petty Patricia? No. You know, Tiffany may be a Karen, but he's like a Patricia. Like he's one of those like he's one of those stupid little aunties. You know what I mean? You're a Karen too. You're a relative of Karen. Trust me. Trust me, Marcel. You are a relative of Karen.
Okay, now here is the humdinger of them all, child. Woo! Here it comes.
Supposed to be having an affair with Marcel. So, and she needs to acknowledge it with him. Her! She doesn't. So you want to be mad, wipe your ass. I don't give a. How about that?
Call the police and go there.
Do that, bitch! Do it, bitch!
Oh! Oh!
Everything looks so good.
Oh! What? Girl. Did you hear that?
I think I did. I mean, I did. But I need you to help me clarify. I need you to help me clarify just a little. Who did Kiki say he was having an affair with?
That part is where they came in on. I don't know.
I'm not alone.
Not on purpose.
Right. So regardless, we have two ladies once again attacking the sanctity of Marcel and Tisha's marriage. Surprise, surprise. But they're feeling very comfortable with it. I hate the fact that Kiki is having her character questioned because of some personal struggles, but at the same time, ma'am, please do not go on a reality show with an active drug problem. Okay? Like that's just not. I mean, I think that many of folk have done it, but it doesn't end well. Luann, like you gotta, ma'am, if you are still and I say this as a cautionary tale to any folks out there, if you are deep in your heart, know you are struggling with controlling any sort of substance use, do not go on a reality show unless you're trying to get into rehab or something. I don't know, but it's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well.
I agree.
And when Kiki said she was on methadone, I was a little bit concerned because that means that you're kind of in a fragile position with your
ability to self-control and all of that.
Well, it's more like your physiology. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it means that you're like, you literally, like if you stopped taking methadone cold, you would go into withdrawals, I believe. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to be too ignorant about speaking on it. It just, you sound like you're in a little bit more of a fragile state.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a little bit more of a fragile state than I would prefer you to be post opioid addiction, which is, no laughing matter. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I hate to see them completely defame your character for something that millions and millions of Americans are struggling with, some sort of substance misuse on every sort of level. I really want to destigmatize that shit. I hate that, but if you are caught while you're on a reality show shoplifting, and and you're flaking out on your commitments and you're showing that you might be displaying behavior that you're active in an addiction, no one's gonna believe, it's not a good look. I feel not good.
And that's true. And what you said about the physiology part is accurate. It's used to treat opioid addictions like heroin,
dependency, yeah,
meth, all those, drugs that, really harm you. And it unfortunately, it's a lesser affecting drug that they both give similar withdrawals symptoms, but it's better to withdraw off of the methadone to help with pain because it's very painful when they go through those
right,
withdrawals and things, Oh, I can't imagine. Oh my goodness. I mean,
right. I mean, I know methadone treatment is methadone maintenance is, widely used for opioid addiction because, right? Because the come down is one of the biggest reasons that a lot of opioid users continue and get further and further down the trail, to full blown heroin fentanyl use, right? Because they are struggling with withdrawal. I'm ignorant of like the different kind of treatment strategies that people use with methadone, but like to me, if you're fragile enough to still be on methadone, it's a little concerning being on a reality show because that's typically like, I don't think someone should be on a reality show if they're like the first year out of rehab, like, or whatever. But who am I to say whatever? I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you just for your own mental wellness, because look what Marceau is doing. Look what everyone did to her. The second she came on the show, they used her issues with addiction, previous issues, to be salacious. Now, I get it. She came out swinging with, she came out with talking about Marceau and Tisha's marriage. So I understand, but it's like, oh boy, like be careful. Kiki, look out. This is treacherous.
I think with last season, if Kiki would have just said what she planned to say and not hold back for fear, because you can't dangle a carrot like that or threaten them with something like that and then take it back, but then toy with them a little bit and play with it. It's almost like, it is, that, I hate to say it, but it is that typical tug of war that drug addicts do when they, not sure if they should stop or go. So, it kind of just manifests into other parts of their lives, I believe, and they do it over here. And I see that Kiki is doing it with Marceau and Tisha's marriage. But
it's like, are you gonna be? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as a first cousin, and for all of the love and admiration she so-called has for her first cousin, putting their marriage like that on blast when their marriage has been talked about since season 1 as a issue, and the real deal, and that they're lying on television. They are. So with all that being said, as her first cousin, don't talk about her marriage like that if it's an issue. And I just think Kiki is trying to get on TV, if not for some money or just to be on TV just because Tisha is. I think there is a little jealousy issue that Miss Wanda brought up, that it is correct, because that's how they were pinned against each other by their respective parents. Let's just put that out there. So there's a little envy with Kiki. And the fact that Tisha has gone through what she's gone through, Kiki feels obligated. Well, if she can do it, I can do it too. That's how I feel about Kiki. I don't think she's right for the show, just like Miss Wanda is not. I think they can come on from time to time. But of course, Carlos wants the ratings, so he's going to have mess. Shout out to Carlos King, the king of reality. But I really do think that Kiki should not be on this show because of all this drug abuse and drug dependent stuff that is obviously catching up to her. Something going on.
Well, I agree with you. I think you made some excellent points, because one of the things that I think has been a detriment for Kiki is that she came on the show and got her place there by attacking Tisha and Marceau's marriage, right?
Yeah.
That's why Kiki made a splash, and she knew that she used that to get a spot on the show. And then you see them supposedly reconcile, and I put that in air quotes because it felt like Kiki had this underlying sense of resentment and entitlement at Tisha that she was not willing to let go, right? And so it didn't necessarily feel like they were actually really reconciled. And then when Tisha invited her to that event, and then she had all of these excuses of why she couldn't get there, to your point, that kind of harkens back to, you know, some like you sound kind of flaky, you know, okay, I get real things can happen, but like you have all kinds of excuses. I think Kiki needed to stick with the horse she rode in on, and maybe not mend fences and just be Mel's friend and constantly be critical of her marriage. And, you know, because it didn't really feel like she wanted to truly reconcile with Letitia anyway. Because if she did, she wouldn't be throwing out these resentful little shots, or, you know what I mean? Like, she just feel like she walked on with the emotional entitlement of it being cousin versus cousin, but it's actually reality show veteran versus reality show newbie. And that's not what she was figuring out how to play right. And now she's just going to have her addiction exploited.
And it's sad.
But, you know.
Anything as far as I'm concerned.
Right. No, I mean, because like I said, two things can be true. She can be struggling with that, and Marceau can be a bad husband. It's kind of shown it to be that way for the entire time.
There was one
piece that I
wanted to play. Towards the end. It was the end of the rest. Well, it was the end of the Midseason trailer. It's just going to be a few, probably 5 seconds. Let me see if it'll play.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, you really couldn't hear it. But it was pretty much Kiki getting put out, and they're just telling her she got to go. She got to go. Tisha still got her face wet. I'm like, girl, you should wash your face off 5 minutes ago. They just trying to usher Kiki out because she is going AWF. AWF. Wow. I don't know if I'm gonna last long because I can see her intentions weren't pure.
Nope. Yeah, they always came off like, even when she was making nice, she would make these little comments. I'm like, you just be an adversary because you don't want to be friends. Because like whatever is deep between you guys is family deep, like you said, probably how your mama's raised you, all of that stuff. So just be just be true to how you feel the whole way through. And if you're trying to make nice with her to stay on the show, well, you're not doing a very good job.
And
because we all can see through it. And the way that you just exploded in the Midseason trailer shows that you have a lot of underlying feelings that you might as well just be true to.
And that's a great way to sum it all up, girl. That's
yes.
a great way to sum it all up. Thanks again. This was a great review with my girl, Espopcultureopinion. You can find her on IG. You see her name's right there. Espopcultureopinion. You want to give a little something for the people?
Just wanted to say I'm grateful to be here, and I can't wait for the mess to continue into next week.
Oh, child. But if you can, check out Detroit. Ooh, them men is trifling. You may want
Apparently so. Apparently.
He left for the weekend to go cheat and came back all peaceful looking. Like, what? Anywho, well, I'm about to put this outro, and that's that on that. The thing of it is that
all right.
it's over.